just there's so many good things that are going on here. I've got a great thing going. We are in Northeast Arkansas, about an hour north of Memphis, about 2.5 hours from Little Rock, about 3.5 hours from St. Louis, about 4.5 hours from Nashville. So we can go all over places to get to swim meets and swim some good people, but we're working on trying to get our own stuff going here so we can host. We just got approved for to spend 83 grand of grant money on heaters and installation at our 10-lane outdoor pool. So we'll be training outdoors year round. That's about to be the biggest game changer that I can't even imagine what we're going to
Right.
look like. I think we're going to have exponential growth. We may not see it for 2 to 3 years based on just getting people acclimated to staying in the water outside. But I mean, we're going from a 4-lane indoor pool in the winter to 10 outdoor lanes and a 4-lane indoor pool. And it's going to be really, really good. This is a growing community. We moved up here from New Orleans 3 years ago, and the selling point up here was essentially we want what y'all are doing, and we want to have a better quality of life for our kids. It's a new concept for me to freely give my intellectual property, but here's the thing: this is unprecedented. I mean, everybody says it, but it is an unprecedented time, and I wanted people to stay in the water. So we retained probably 60% of our people for 2 months, and then we probably lost another 10%. But we had people paying full dues the entire time we were out of the water. Since then, we've had to be creative, and I think creativity has driven our product. We had a lot of success. We trained through the pandemic. My kids worked really hard. We went from kids not even having double B times to hitting triple A and almost quad A times. We had kids that didn't have state cuts winning 200 breaststroke a year later. I mean, that's not even. It's unfathomable the
Right.
result that came out of us being creative and then the blessing of the 10-lane outdoor pool and being in Northeast Arkansas, where if I tell them we're staying outside till November in the cold pool, I'm not getting a lot of balking. And so we just now shut down that pool until we get the heaters built. Until I had gotten here, it had been like over a decade since they'd had relays at state, and they had never had one at 14 and under.
Right.
We broke an LSC record in the 400 free relay for 11-12 girls last year that
Man.
stood for over 7 years.
Yeah.
And the girls that were on that relay that we beat, two of them went to Texas A&M, and one of them I think is at Purdue right now. So I
Mhm.
mean, you got three Power 5 swimmers that were on that, and we were the first team in Arkansas. And again, not blazing fast, but we were the first 11-12 girls or boys team to get under 4 minutes in the 400 free relay, and that's a big deal here.
Yeah.
That never happened in boys or girls. So uh, getting them down to the ISCA meet was important. We lucked out last year because y'all pulled the time requirements, and we were right on the cuts. I mean, we weren't there, but we were right on. And we went down there and we raced North Baltimore. We raced Bowls, and our girls a week and a half, 2 weeks after their state meet, absolutely after having a phenomenal state meet, shattered their times. I mean, just crushed their times. I mean, we had a 12-year-old girl go 450 something in the 400 IM. She went 1130 in the 1,000. Being able to be there, we don't get that action. Arkansas is underdeveloped. It was phenomenal in the 90s when Walmart was big, when Paul Blair was still around,
Yeah.
and then when Tay was doing lasers, you had the lasers versus Dolphins battle, and then you had Walmart in the Northwest, and it's just kind of faded since then. And we're on the come up. I do believe that. I'm not the biggest fan of the traditional zone meets. I used to be die hard. Like I loved zones. I loved zones when I coached back. Like I did 2 zone staffs when I was in college, and then it went. I mean, I
Mhm.
didn't go back for another decade. I bounced around a little bit, and because I was going to college, I was here, I was there, I was doing other
Right.
colleges, and when I got back into it, I was like, this is awesome. But some of the stuff that happens at those traditional zone meets is so just over dramatic. Parents sitting in the stands with other parents, you should come to our team, and then the coach getting flagged for it. And it's like, I didn't even know who that person was. I'm sorry that we had 30 kids in the swim meet and that your parents enjoyed sitting with them. And I've always been the small team, so I've always been like, I don't see the big deal. My parents like me, they like my program. They're not intimidated by sitting with 30 parents from another team, and they're not going to jump ship. And if they do, they probably should go anyway. If they were looking for a reason. And so, but it just causes rifts that don't necessarily need to be there. And I do like the central zone because there's a time standard for it. There's an automatic berth versus the southern zone is top 7, and however they do that is it's not very standardized. It's based on, I like the way Georgia does it. I felt like Louisiana pretended like they were, and again, I'm speaking I loved my time in Louisiana, but I felt like we as a Louisiana organization put so much emphasis on PowerPoints here and there that we lost some of the flexibility. But we also didn't have transparency because they were using Team Unified PowerPoints. They weren't, or not Team Unified. They were using Team Manager PowerPoints, supposedly not USA PowerPoints. So people would always pull up the phone and be like, well, you see here, the PowerPoints are higher than this kid. And then they'd have to go back and explain, and then they have to print it out, and then they'd write it down. And it was like, that just seems so exhausting.
Like fantasy football or something.
It is. And I'll be honest, that side of it did kind of make it fun. Kids dropping a big time or beating somebody head to head and then running over to the board to see where their name got moved to and what the points are. That aspect of it is cool, and I hope that we continue some of that stuff. But the ISCA long course meet, I think it's great because it's an alternative to that. And it's getting kids second swims and after LSC championship swims. So I mean, I could definitely see us going to that. Our families aren't going to go to St. Pete twice in a year. Right. It's an expense.
And you got so many outdoor pools, I imagine, in your own backyard. So let's save it for the spring. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So do you have a lot of country clubs or summer outdoor pools or other rec pools, or not much of that?
This is a very underdeveloped area. So much so that we participate in a summer AAU league, and it's a conference, and we go as far as 2.5 hours away for a summer league meet. I mean, and I try to host meets, and we do the league minimum amount of meets for kids. We'll do 4 meets, and you got to go to 3 out of 4 to qualify for the championship meet. And most people can do that. I think I added a 5th one this year just because it was closer. But having people that are brand new to swimming traveling even 45 minutes to it. Summer league is supposed to be convenient. It's not supposed to be travel swimming, and that's, I look at a 2-hour drive one way.
Then how many teams are you talking about in that AAU league?
6 or 7.
Okay.
And that's, we have a different philosophy, obviously, than some of the AAU teams in the area. USA swimming and AAU swimming, it's an interesting mix of philosophies here in Arkansas. And I'm not saying good, bad, or otherwise. It's just different. And we've kind of figured out our place in it. And
well, you have to make it work for the kids and work for the program and work for what's in your neighborhood. Yeah,
exactly. And my ultimate goal is to create an area, a Jonesboro area summer league, and run it congruently with some of the city programming. And we've really done a good job of marrying our program with the city, but being separate in that, well, if we stay a 501c3, we can apply for grants here, and here, or if we work with the city on this, then we can cut through red tape here and here and here because it's a municipality, and vice versa. And I'm also the pool manager for the city pool. So
good.
Yes, sir.
How many Then how many, one city pool, or is that isn't the 10-lane pool, or is that?
It's the 10-lane pool. It's one city pool.
Okay.
It's open from June 1st until Labor Day, and then we stay in it as long as it's safe to stay in it. And we've got some tough people, so 68 to 74 degree water, and everyone knows what they're getting into. We have the indoor option for the younger kids. We do all sorts of things, but my involvement.